August 19th, 1953. Tehran, Iran. A CIA officer named Kermit Roosevelt Jr. sits in the basement of a quiet compound near the American embassy. On the wooden table sits a leather satchel packed with hundreds of thousands of dollars in Iranian rials. Outside, the streets of the capital are descending into calculated madness. 2 years earlier, Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh made a decision that shook global markets. He signed legislation nationalizing the British-owned Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, seizing control of the Abadan refinery, the largest oil facility on Earth. For decades, Britain extracted immense wealth from Iranian soil while paying minimal royalties to the nation. Mossadegh declared that no sovereign people should remain impoverished above immense natural resources. Britain responded with economic warfare. The Royal Navy blockaded the Persian Gulf, halting Iranian crude exports. London froze Iranian foreign assets and boycotted all trade with Tehran. Within months, government revenues collapsed, public infrastructure stalled, and inflation soared. When negotiations deadlocked, British intelligence approached Washington. They framed Mossadegh not merely as an economic nationalist, but as a leader who could push Iran into the Soviet orbit. In 1953, President Dwight Eisenhower and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill authorized a joint covert plan designated Operation TP-AJAX. The objective was the removal of Mossadegh and the installation of General Fazlollah Zahedi. Intelligence planners designed a campaign of political warfare, bribery, and psychological deception. The first phase unfolded inside the print shops and media syndicates of Tehran. Handlers paid local newspaper editors to publish fabricated front-page stories accusing the Prime Minister of corruption, treason, and secret communist ties. Fake manifestos attributed to radical leftists were distributed across conservative neighborhoods, warning that mosques would soon be closed. Simultaneously, operatives recruited muscle from athletic clubs, wrestling houses, and street gangs in South Tehran. Leaders received cash to organize mobs. Demonstrators were paid $5 a day to chant conflicting slogans, smash shop windows, set fire to buildings, and manufacture chaos. On August 15th, an initial attempt to dismiss Mossadegh using a royal decree collapsed. Loyal military units arrested the courier carrying the order, and Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi fled the country in panic to Rome. Washington ordered Roosevelt to terminate the mission and evacuate immediately. Roosevelt refused to leave. Over the next 3 days, Roosevelt escalated the campaign. He directed provocateurs to pose as communists, desecrating royal statues and attacking religious clerics to turn conservatives against the government. On the morning of August 19th, the second assault commenced. Massive crowds marched toward the city center waving portraits of the exiled Shah. Bribed police commanders stood down as mobs seized telegraph offices, government ministries, and radio stations. Rogue army commanders mobilized armored battalions from suburban barracks, moving M4 Sherman tanks into the capital. By midday, heavy armor surrounded Mossadegh's residential compound on Kak Street. Inside, loyal guards returned fire from perimeter walls. For 3 hours, tank artillery pounded the brick facade. Smoke rose over central Tehran as Radio Tehran fell silent. 11 minutes later, a military voice announced the collapse of the government. By late afternoon, pro-coup forces breached the iron gates and arrested loyalist officers. Mossadegh escaped over the rear garden wall, surrendering the following morning. General Zahedi broadcast his first address as Prime Minister, while the Shah prepared his return. The operation cost Western intelligence less than $1 million. International oil corporations secured long-term control over Iranian fields, and royal rule was restored for 26 years. Yet the covert architecture pioneered on that day triggered decades of regional upheaval, a future revolution, and deep fractures across the Middle East. August 19, 1953.